Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Crypto City. I'm joined here this week with Rallo from the Music District. We're going to hear all about the incredible things he's doing to try and help musicians get more recognition within the Metaverse. But first, we've got a special treat tonight because we're actually being live streamed in addition to being recorded on YouTube. So welcome, Rallo, and thank you for being here tonight and broadcasting our
Thank you for
show.
having me. Yes, thank you, man. This is very exciting. I appreciate having me on.
Well, we're excited to have you here. It's always good to hear about different aspects of the metaverse and what people are doing in there to help make a difference in the community. Before we start talking about what you're doing with the musicians, I just want to take a moment to address the audience. A couple of weeks ago, we did an episode on AI generators and different apps, and we talked about all that you can use to help you in business and for fun to play around with AI. You've probably already heard about this, but if you haven't, Google has jumped in full force with AI now. This week, there was a lot of talk about some of the apps that they have out there that you can play around with, and I want to stress this. Play around. Have fun. Don't worry about the fact that you don't understand it fully. Jump in there and experience it firsthand and learn as you go. There's so many things out there. Many of you might already be familiar with Google Maps. Well, they now have an immersive view route that you can see traffic, different road markings, bike lanes. It just makes it a lot more interesting when you're getting directions now and heading to where you're going. These are things that you can turn on and off, but it's really cool that you can check that out. In addition, for those of you who are taking photos all the time, I know for me, my cell phone is more of a camera than anything else. But if you like playing around with them, there's a magic editor in there that's an AI editor, and it allows you to do some pretty complex editing. I've only seen a few examples, but I was impressed with, some of the stuff of, a picture with a person who's not in quite the correct location. And with a couple of clicks, you can move that person over to right where you want them to be position-wise. So there's some pretty cool stuff in there that, of course, you could do in like Photoshop, but more fun because you can do it on the fly and you don't have to, take as much time to get these things done. And of course, everyone loves ChatGPT, so they came out with their own version of it called Palm 2. And Google Workspace is now automating sheets and docs with a lot of AI and, some other apps that they have in there too. But rounding it out is a program called Music LM, and it's a tool that turns text into music. And we kind of played around with the generator a few weeks ago where we said, hey, make us a little, a poem or a rap about, AI and crypto and stuff. And Aussie guy had asked us to put together a poem about cryptocurrency, and we did that. Well, now you can kind of do it, take the text and put it to music, which I'm sure would be interesting to many people in here, especially you, Rallo. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's moving so quick and so fast that it's so exciting just to sit back and enjoy the ride. I think it's exhilarating and I love it. I love what the future doesn't hold. We basically get to create it ourselves.
Yes. It makes everything so much more personal, I feel, because you're putting your own thoughts, your own wishes down into the AI generators to get what you want out of it.
Yeah, it's funny because I recently released a song and which I've never done before in my life. And I thought that if I didn't do it now, that these lyrics that took me forever to get down would definitely be considered by a lot of people otherwise as AI.
Oh,
So
wow.
before AI got like ahead, it was just like a mad dash just to get this. That was definitely a push for me to get that song out.
So this
Uh,
is this the one that you released this week? I saw the post that you had up.
yeah, I did it on my birthday. Yeah, I released it, and it's just you get to a certain point in your life where you're just like, fuck it, let's just put it out. And I've written I write a lot of songs for a lot of other people but me, and I've always been a writer, but never have I personally written a song for myself and performed a song myself. So that would be the very first song that I did for myself that was released on my birthday.
That's super exciting, and happy birthday, happy belated. But that is
Thank you.
so exciting to hear, that you've obviously, your whole world is wrapped up in the music. So to do your own piece, that must have been, something that was a passion that was sitting right under the surface for a while. So nice to unleash.
Oh, it felt great. It was you become innocuous to likes and retweets and shares when you express yourself on a whole new level. And I think, as an artist or a DJ or as a performer, I think that's what it is. It's constantly getting yourself outside of the feeling of having to be validated by anything or anyone. And I think that's some of the best artists come from those places.
I would agree with you. I mean, the what's in your heart is when it comes forward, that's always the best.
No doubt.
So
No doubt.
most of us in here are not familiar with music districts. So tell us a little bit about, we know that you're working to make make platforms more readily available to people in the music industry within the metaverse. So give us a little bit of the background of what music district's main goal is and how it came about.
Sure. So I'll tell you, the story is that before the music district became the music district, I had started a company almost all right, fine, 20 years. And it was called Subway Records. And I had built the first online platform for Subway musicians here in New York City.
Oh, wow.
What I did for the artists, and this was at the time that that Apple was coming out. So you kind of figure, the years this is, right? That everybody was flooding over to Apple. Everybody wanted to be on Apple. And so when Subway Records started, we built a back end proprietary e-commerce technology that allowed us to give complete control over the CD selling price and the digital selling price direct to the artists. So they could compensate for their commission by adjusting the sales price to what they wanted to sell it for. So essentially, what happened was it worked, but we ended up selling that technology or licensing it out to like Tommy Boy Records and some other, labels at the time that were coming, to the light of selling music digitally and now physically and now digitally. So I've been doing this whole thing for a long, long time. And for I would say for Christmas about almost 2 years. So that's how long I've been in the metaverse. It's been about 2 years. And I'd gotten the Oculus for my kids, and not
Hmm.
knowing really much about any of this, I put them on, and I just started messing around. Like I played some poker, and which was absolutely blew my mind. And I had some really good conversations. At some of these blackjack tables and poker tables. It was amazing. It was mind blowing. My world was changing in that moment. And I was directed over to the multiverse, which was, I guess, Facebook. Everybody was talking about, hey, did you buy real estate? Did you buy real estate? And honestly, I didn't know what anybody was talking about. But after, like, I don't know, the fourth or fifth time, of being in this particular game, playing cards, somebody, you go over to the multiverse, you buy any apartments? And I was like, I got to go check it out. So I ended up checking it out, and outside of the amazingness of what the multiverse for Facebook, what they call the Infiniverse, was the community that was built there. It was just an absolute uh, interacting, highly engaging, like almost like downtown, like uh, like in the village. People are just walking around outside. That particular metaverse is so different than anything that we've ever experienced in any of these metaverses, like Spatial or the Central Land. This is more of a, I don't know, it's a different vibe, and it serves a different purpose. So while I was in there, I started promoting an artist who I was managing at the time. And as I was promoting him inside of this Finiverse, I realized I just heard myself, and it was just repetitive, and I was bored. And I said,
Mm,
what better way than to start a music district inside of here? And I could promote not only my artists, but other artists from around the world and having a home, which we now have. We own the land. We started the music district there. And then back in August of last year, they actually did a drop there to recognize the organic growth of the music district community inside of the multiverse. And that to me it really meant something to me because it was something that, it was an idea, and with the support of a lot of people inside of that platform, the music district is not the music district without those people, my friends who, and through time, just like anything else, there's ups and there's downs, and it might, one metaverse is better than the other, but everything comes back around. So we've been building out the music district inside of the multiverse, and that's kind of how it happened. I started promoting not only my own artists, but now other artists. Well, that was essentially the beginning. It was like maybe February, March,
okay.
and then by August, I mean, it was. Are you familiar with it?
I have not been there. I have not been.
Oh man, you got to check it out. You got to check it out because it's like, think of it like a building, like a flat, like one building, right? Then every person
Hmm.
buys a floor. The building starts.
Oh, I think we lost your sound. Oh, technical difficulty. I think we lost a little sound. Rallo, I don't know if you can hear. We can't hear you. I can tell that he's talking because I can see him on the thing, but we can't. We can't hear you.
Hear you?
Uh, sorry, folks. Little technical difficulty. Hold on a moment. While we try to get Rallo back online. Um, oh, it looks like he might be back. Hold on one second. He's just restarting. Now, these things that happen in the metaverse, apologies for the delay. Every week it seems like there's a little bit of a learning curve, and this is what promotes growth. We have, a few more weeks left in our season 2, and then we'll make some decisions on season 3 platform if we're going to stay here in Spatial or potentially move to another platform. Hopefully over the summer they're going to be able to work out some of these little kinks that we go through each week. But in the meantime, we just
We
adapt
just
and we deal and we continue on. Let me just see. I don't see. Well, while we're waiting for him to come back in, I don't know if King Dub Tech, if you can hear me back there, if you have a way of to reach out to him and let him know that we cannot hear him right now. I did send him a message. Maybe we can get him back on. Um, but in the meantime, one of the things that, one of the reasons why we brought Rallo on here tonight was so that we could talk to some of you out there who are in the music industry, because he is trying to promote musicians within here. And I know we've had some musicians on in the past, like Mystic Spirit Music came on with her daughter Riot Love, who we promoted on here as well. We've had a few different people come on from within the music industry. And and or people who are expanding music into the metaverse. So if any of you out there that are listening or are watching are interested in trying to promote yourself within different platforms in the metaverse, Rallo is definitely somebody that you want to reach out to. Because he can help you get some recognition. He can help you with promotions if you have an upcoming show that you're trying to do in here. And he can kind of give you some guidance because, you know, he's been doing the metaverse end of it for a shorter amount of time, but in real life, he's been doing this for a while. So he can definitely give you some guidance and help you with that. Let me just check and see. It looks like he's on hold right now. On the phone with tech support, trying to get himself back up and running in here. Just our typical weekly. At least nobody right now is dancing up on the stage, although I could dance for you if you like. Have to try and make light of the situations when they happen like this. But we do, we do have a show next week. Just as a preamble, we have Troy coming on to talk about Red Hector art. He's one of our weekly guests that come here in the audience. He has made some incredible galleries here in Spatial with his artwork. So we will be featuring him next week. He's going to come on and talk to us about his artwork, his passion, and how he sets up the galleries in here, and maybe give us some pointers if you have someone in here who might want to be setting up a gallery for yourself. It's pretty good in Spatial. They really walk you through it, but he can give you firsthand experience of what it was like for him. And then we will be taking a week off on Memorial Day week. And after that, we will have our 4 full weeks in June, and then we will be on hiatus after that. So we're working through this. We're getting some good content. I do want to throw out a reminder to everyone that we have our Discord channel where you can put any suggestions that you might have for us. We also have our YouTube channel where all the previous episodes are posted that you can go and rewatch them. If you missed them, you can go on there and catch them. And if there are any links and stuff like that, any slideshows that we do for certain weeks, those are usually posted in the Discord. Certain links I have posted in YouTube on the channels. So just trying to think if there's anything else I can throw out there for you guys. I know he's trying to get back into us right now, so I don't want to veer off topic too much because I'd really like to get him back in here so he can finish his story about what he's doing. And Rallo, if you can hear me out there, we are waiting for you. Do we have anyone in the audience who might have a question or something that they'd like to ask? It can be with regards to tonight's episode or any of the previous ones as well. Okay. I apologize for the
City,
delay. Yes, Wildfire.
you were talking about AI in the music industry. What are the big players right now, and which ones would you say think are the best that are going to excel this?
Are you talking about AI generators, or are you talking about just kind of like who are the players like Google, Apple, like those kind of players?
Yes, them. And I played around with one called Boomy that wrote all the music and everything.
Ooh, that
Which
sounds
ones do you
fun.
like so far?
I haven't made a lot of songs in AI. I did put together some poems and I did put together some stories. I do think that Chat GPT does come out with some great lyrics when you ask it to put things together. And, I hate to say, that it's a forerunner in AI in general, but I do like how if you give it very specific details, it can come out with something really intelligent, which is nice. And I like that. And it actually makes sense. one of the
Bunch.
stories I did, I think I told you guys, I did a little story about, it was more like a unicorn, and it was a funny story, and it was whimsical, but what came out of it actually made sense. So I had done it as a joke to see what it would spit back to me, and it was extremely intelligent. I've actually done a few different things with it. The new Google ones I was just talking about earlier tonight, I
Check
did play
one,
around with
check
it a
two.
little bit. And
That
I did
works.
think that was
That'll work.
interesting as well. I did like the way that it came back
Check,
with
check,
the
check.
results.
Did you guys hear me all right?
We can, but we don't see you. Where are you?
Yeah, I'm coming.
Oh,
Sorry
okay,
about
great.
that.
Rallo is back. But yes,
Sorry, I
Loudfire,
apologize.
I would go on and play, and I think Rallo might have some insight into that as well, seeing as he's more involved with music. He may have done some himself. Here he comes.
Sorry, man.
That's okay. I tried to carry it for a little bit. I didn't want to veer off topic because I knew you'd be back.
No, I appreciate you. I apologize. It's always something with the tech, right? It's like,
It
but Dab
is.
Tech, you're the man. I mean, this is why you got to have people like Dab Tech. Let me tell you something, guys. I'm telling you right now. We all have these problems. You need a Dab Tech on your team, period. If you don't, get one now. It's for real. Because it's stuff like this that when you're in the middle of stuff like, in a conversation, and then to switch gears and to change it all up, it's tough. Need that
Yeah.
support. So I appreciate him very much.
No, I yelled right out to him. I'm like, if you could get a hold of him, let him know we can't hear him.
Yeah, I was typing in, but that's cool. I had to stop the stream. I'm going to restart it while we speak. But
Okay.
yeah, man, like I was saying, like the Infiniverse, if you haven't been there, it's,
I'll definitely have to check it out.
yeah, I mean, I think it's going to go through another resurgence, right? Like, I think most of anything, like alt space, like all of a sudden, like where did that place, like what happened to alt space? Like I know Burning Man wanted to buy it,
Mm.
right? Did you hear about that?
There were a lot of people who were lined up wanting to buy it, and it didn't seem like it was actually an option for anyone. It's as if Microsoft just didn't even give it a chance and canceled it.
What did they do with all that technology?
It's out there, and you cannot tell me that they're not giving that out to people or selling it out to people, I should say. You can't tell me that they took the best event platform out there and made it disappear. There's no way. There's somebody out there who either bought it privately and for an insane amount of money, or they're privately selling it individually to other groups. I do not believe that could just disappear.
Man, yeah, because that's what it was. It was like, so when that happened, then everybody went over to like alt space, and then every alt space was definitely alt space was definitely another vibe on another level with the creativity and the flexibility to design your own worlds. And actually one of the few metaverses where you had feedback as far as you knew how many people came to your event.
Yes, the metrics were there for all the analytics you had.
Yeah, man, I would do anything for those analytics now,
I'm sure it's coming, though. I'm sure that there's going to be, integrations built into these other platforms. So Music District, you're saying Infiniverse. Now, what about, so there's, VR chat,
Right.
there's Spatial, there's all these other programs. Are you doing things in all of the platforms?
Perfect. So what happened was I'm so passionate about music, but I cannot be essentially building in all these different platforms, right? It takes so much time and effort. So I trademarked last year, almost a year and a half ago, I trademarked the Music District as it relates to live streaming music inside of virtual environments. So now there's only one Music District inside of any virtual environment, and that would be the one that we created together, where it all started, essentially, with the community inside of Twitter. So it's really exciting it definitely eases that piece up, so I'm able to continue on with that passion of promoting and building. And essentially that's what the Music District has slowly evolved into. We're basically a music community that's consolidating music-themed worlds by projecting live streams across metaverse platforms through a shared live stream link. So we're broadcasting, and then we broadcast that across all social platforms in a similar way that we're doing this today.
Okay. So are you saying, for example, how we have, the capability here to share screen. So are you saying that basically you're putting these links out there for everybody within these platforms to go up and project your stream in those worlds?
Right. So let's say that this is like Crypto City. We live stream it to a private feed, right? In
Yep.
YouTube, right? Then we have what we created was the Metaverse Music Network, which is basically a conglomeration of platforms and spaces that are music focused, right? So you have like, MYX, Red Pill. You could have like a music section and a music district in Decentraland, Spatial. All of them. And then what we do as part of the music network is it would be one live stream that everybody's picking up and embedding into their worlds. Now, each week, what we do is we promote one of those partners to bring attention and traffic to their space. So it's not so much about bringing people, to a space that I created. It's about bringing traffic and awareness to the world of one of my partners inside of the music network, Metaverse
Nice.
Music Network.
Okay.
That makes sense?
It does. Now, so let me ask you, for example, if you have a platform such as VR chat, where it's not as easy to broadcast within the program. I mean, you can go in there and you can record off of like your PC, because if you're in there on PC, you can stream from that, but you don't have the easier capability to share within the worlds. So in those kinds of instances, you would be sharing just a link for them to go outside of VR chat and watch it somewhere else?
It would be projecting the feed inside of the platform that we're in. That's being projected. So you could have spatial inside the spatial platform inside of other metaverses.
Yes. Okay.
Right. So,
Now,
and then maybe the next
yeah.
week it could be like MYX, or the next week it could be the Infiniverse. Right.
Okay.
And so it's just, and not only that, you're providing content to partners to make their space a little bit more meaty and meaningful, for like what's more meaningful than music.
Sure, of course. So now let's talk about a little bit about the artists themselves. So these artists that you're working with, that they're musicians in real life, obviously, because once you're a musician, no matter where you are. But that are you, when you're trying to help promote them, are you promoting them for events within the metaverse as well as events in real life? Because we've had, when we were in Altspace, as an example, there's been several concerts over there, whether it was different members of the community who were featured singing. I actually had done a concert over there for my nonprofit to raise some funds. We did it as a fundraiser. And we had 4 or 5 people come on with a headliner, and we promoted that on social media and then we broadcast the concert and we recorded it, and then we could play it back. But are you doing some of those type of events, or are you just kind of pushing like up from a more of a marketing standpoint?
So, I just said the other day that I've probably done a business plan on the music district 4 different times, and it's constantly evolving. And I said the other day, it's the metaverse is almost like my virtual vision board, because essentially everything that's happening inside of the metaverse is replicating itself in IRL.
Mm-hmm.
So I now have partners like the National Jazz Museum in Harlem. I now have partners where we have local breweries where there's live music happening, where we set up our cameras and we live stream direct from those venues. So it is a little, and not only that, if there is overlap, which I'm not there yet, as far as like building it up to where there's like thousands of people. But I believe it's also with partnerships that we have that is their core competency, like Webstock is a partner of ours. They're the first essential, they're the first live festival powered by DAO owners, by NFT owners, and what they do over there in IRL is fantastic. And a lot of their artists that they have there are some of the top artists that you see in Web3. And so, like for NFT NYC, we went there, and the Music District broadcasted 10 hours of live music direct
Nice.
through building in Manhattan. And it was just a great experience all around to not only be able to, watch and be a part, but to meet a lot of these artists who I speak to online, and now seeing them in real life. So the worlds are starting to merge a little bit for me.
Very interesting. Um, in personally, I actually I have a friend who produces music, and he's got a new artist that he's working with. Him and his partner are working with this new artist, and she's uh, she's kind of like extreme hip hop. Like it's a different type of music, let's just say. But
Yeah,
it's hip hop, and it's it might not be family friendly, but she's really interested in getting involved in the metaverse. So, I was talking to him the other day. They're actually doing a big event on the 17th this week, Zoom call where everybody can go on and meet her and everything. And, her look is incredible, everything. They've got the marketing part down, but they don't know much about the metaverse. And so he's like, I really want to get her in there. She wants to check it out, maybe do some NFT stuff, maybe incorporate that in with her releases that she's got coming out, but also to maybe have her come in here and talk about maybe performing, whether it's on like a radio station like DJ Marcus's radio station, or whether it's actually coming into Worlds and maybe doing like a private, hey, come meet the artist and have the artist drop some songs, right there for while people are, in a little meet and greet environment. So this is the kind
right.
of stuff she's thinking of. Is this, would this ever be something that you would also engage in?
Well, 1,000%. I think, um, there's so much talent out there that exists, so much that it's not the only thing you need anymore. I think you really got to have the awareness of those around you a little bit more than what it was back in the day. Like whether I don't know. I just think music has changed on more than just the you know the distribution part of it. I think it's the psychologically, I think it's also done a backflip as well. But
Mm.
yeah, I think somebody, I mean, if the thing is, it's for what we do in the music district, right? There's levels to it. So I'm only on the first level, but the first level that I'm on right now, as far as the metaverse, is if you think you have talent and you perform and you have a metaverse, well, great. I'll come there. I'll hear it. I'll broadcast it, right? I'll put it out to more people. I'll extend it. And then based on that, retweets, shares, likes, you then either make that determination, right? Whether or not you want to invest more time and money in that artist.
Mm-hmm.
In a very similar way, when I was with Subway Records, those artists would promote themselves by promoting Subway Records when and where they would play, giving Rush commuters another opportunity to log on and find out more about them. So those artists that were good and were saying, hey, buy my music on Subway Records, I knew that guy was doing his thing for me. And for those types of artists, I got to do halftime shows at Madison Square Garden where they make like 5 Gs or something like that for 10 seconds of work. It was
Yep.
just, and those to those, so anybody who's looking to reciprocate and work as hard as I am for them, as far, little by little, we get there together. We're not going to get there overnight. Artists do come up to me all the time, be like, hey, could I can I be in the metaverse? I want to, and then they don't have a lot of people that come to like their first event and they think it doesn't work, and it's such a short-minded type of mindset, but that there's a lot of that for especially people walking into Web3. So there's really not so much you could be aware of it, but you have to be sort of acclimated to it, to really be successful in Web3. So it does
Mhm.
take time. It takes time for yourself. It takes time for relationships. It takes time, to figure out how to work with each other, especially when it might not be face to face.
Mhm.
So I say, if anybody thinks they got the stuff, do it, and if I could help out and broadcast them, awesome. But in the beginning, what could you do for yourself? Right? Like, what can you do for yourself? Can you
Of
more? I
course,
mean, do
yeah.
you have fans? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go and I'm gonna broadcast it out. I'm gonna because all the equipment and time and energy and the network that we have, we could broadcast out your music. Now it's up to you to market to your fans. But now I really get to see how strong is their fans.
Mhm.
Because what happens if like nobody shows up? Well, then the fandom's not there. The connection that somebody
Mhm.
thinks they might have isn't there, you know? And I know it's difficult. It becomes more and more difficult in Web3. So if you don't have it in Web2, then you got to sort of change and sort of accept these new ways in Web3.
Of course. I mean, and it's a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to take a while to get there. It's not an overnight sensation success, but like you said, if you have a core base, if you think you've got people that are following you or that are interested in you, you've got to learn how to market those people. I mean, for, anything in life, if you want it to be successful, word of mouth is how, is the best advertising. But I find that when you have a core group of people, whether it's, 10 or 100 people, if you can get them to keep sharing and to talk to their people and continuously push it out, it just organically grows too, to get you at least a decent base to grow from. I mean, like I mentioned, I have a nonprofit and I do events, and right now we have our big event coming up this weekend. And the way I push that out there, the way I sell it, the way I get it to move forward is by all of my people who are my followers reshare, keep
Right.
resharing, push it
Yeah.
out there. And it's the same if you're trying to market music or you're trying to market art or anything. You need to have people push it out for you because you can't do it all yourself, but you
Yeah.
do have to spearhead that marketing initiative.
Yeah, you do 100%, and I also feel like it takes money too. I mean,
Oh yeah,
um,
that's true.
so the idea is, the community is great, but it's really not going to make a difference and make or break you. It's not, the community is important to have. I just need support, like everybody needs the support, right? Like
Yep.
going the extra mile here today and setting this all up and broadcasting it out, and getting it on YouTube, and we'll record it and we'll edit it, we'll put a nice package together. And even on this show and some other shows too, if some artists come on, they maybe didn't want to use this type of footage for maybe their metaverse portfolio, we'd be more than happy to help, which could be something special for you to add on to, for when people, visit and talk. But yeah, I mean, it's just an exciting time, really. And I don't know, it's just so much to think about, right? And so the idea is, if these artists have a little bit of that entrepreneurial spirit, then it becomes pretty apparent where to invest that future monies later on.
Hmm.
And when and when you're talking marketing, and advertising and bookings, I own a management company called Mondo Green Management, you know, um, and I know what it takes to do all that. And this is a great in, I believe, as far as an opportunity to sort of harness everyone's energy in a positive way. by just continuing to support each other. And as long as that support's there, everything else falls in place.
So let me ask you, now we know we know what you do, we know your mission, but what are your future goals for growing not just the music district, but you told us in the beginning now you have some songs out, well, a song out. So are you planning
Yeah,
on, continuing with that and releasing more music? Are you planning on, having yourself as your biggest client?
definitely,
Or are you,
definitely not.
you know,
I'm a pain in the ass. I'd be the worst to manage.
oh no.
Um,
But what do you plan on doing in here within the metaverse in the future?
so essentially, first, as far as the music, that was something that I always do, and I've always done. Before this, during this, and after this. You know, People know me as the music district. In Rallo as the music district, um, because that's what it is. The music district. It's not about me.
Yeah.
This is about a community of artists and musicians and this new platform, and learning and pioneering this together with everybody, which is great. But I would say our services, right, like what we do, it's basically divided up in two categories. This is how we do it. One, we live stream at venues in real life. We take the live streams for those artists and we pump it into the music district and again broadcast it out in a similar way.
Hmm.
The other piece of that is just broadcasting. So the broadcasting piece is essentially, hey, Rallo, I'm doing this thing at Crypto City tonight. I have an artist, he wants to broadcast it. And at that point, you could buy an NFT, or anybody who's looking to do that could buy an NFT and we could broadcast that out, whatever that token is, or whatever, not a token, but an NFT,
Hmm.
as a service, because it's time, right? It's
Of
time.
course, yeah.
So, you have to pay people for their time. So it comes down to live streaming and broadcasting. And then the third piece there is, which is really not a third piece, but obviously, we could do overlays, advertising, marketing, over the live streams and things like that. And as we grow bigger in the metaverse and as we grow bigger in IRL, I'm sure that's at some point these worlds will collide, come together, and explode. And I want to be there for that shit.
Yeah.
I want to be there. It's gonna be big, and it's happening quick, and it's happening fast. And I don't think it's gonna take. It's not gonna take 10 years. It's gonna take less
Mm.
than 5.
Yeah, everything in here is fast and furious. It moves quickly, and the significant feedback, the significant outcomes, and I an idea that you have at 8 a.m. today is a reality at noon tomorrow. So I
Yeah.
mean, you've got to move fast with this stuff, and for any of the musicians that are in here or anybody else who, whether you're a DJ, musician, anything, but if they needed to reach out to you because they want to talk to you more about some of what you're offering and maybe how it could benefit them, what's the best way to reach you? Is it on Instagram? Is it on Twitter? What do you feel is the best way?
Yeah, I would say, look, just go to musicdistrict.io.
Mm-hmm.
You have all my socials there. And, for all those artists out there, I mean, essentially, you want to think about the key word here is interoperability. And we're just basically going to increase your reach as an artist outside of a singular platform. We're going to enhance that awareness of who you are as an artist. And so with that collaboration inside of the music district, we could build each other up together. And there's different ways to do that, right? One of the things that I wanted to mention is, we recently did, with Doe's Good Media, we have a producer who is going to be working with DabTech and I, on a show, a 30-minute show, which, quite honestly, City, you know what I'm I'm saying? You could host it if you want. You know what I mean? Like that's how organic and fast this is moving, right? Like everything everything happens like synchronicity here, man. It's like this is one of the most amazing things for me in Web3 is synchronicity. Like there's
Mm.
anything you ever needed or wanted or want to go, it just happens. It happens
Yes.
when it's supposed to happen. And that's something that, is I'm truly thankful for. So we're working with with Dozga Media, and what we're doing is we're creating a 30-minute show that's going to be highlighting the best of Web3 music from the month prior, music videos, NFT releases. We're gonna pack it in.
Nice.
We're gonna do, and we're gonna produce it, right? Professionally, and we're gonna use it as a sort of like a proof of concept to start pitching to actual networks on TV.
Love it.
Um,
Love it. That's
so
great.
yeah, so I think that's where kind of where we're going, and I think one of one of the last partnerships we had, which brought us some attention, was that whole we have 3 bars in Nashville now, where we live stream music, right from like AJ's Good Time Bar and Grill.
That's
It's live
amazing.
music. It's awesome. And Nudie's Honky Tonk. We have that one. We have Johnny Cash Bar.
Nice.
And we have this partner that called My Set. You got to check these guys out. And if you're an artist, listen, this is really good stuff. So My Set essentially is a QR code that you would put over your live stream, and fans who are watching could scan it, and it will bring you inside of essentially the My Set app, and you are able to request songs that way. And based on the level
Nice.
of a tip they give you, right? You could cut the line. So if you spend, and like for example, with AJ's Good Time Bar, right? I tipped a couple of times, and if you tip $20, they stop right there and they'll play your music right inside the metaverse, shout out your name. And so you're listening to like live Nashville, not live country music in Nashville, and you just requested a song that they just played and shouted your name out. So that is incredible, just pioneering of like how this is all coming together. You know, I'm seeing it, I feel it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the
And
interactivity with the audience is always going to be a game changer. People love to feel like they're part of it.
always, man, 1,000%, 1,000%.
I love it.
Love it.
I love your goals. I love the things that you're doing in here. And the bigger picture of it, incorporating these artists, both in real life and here in the metaverse and across all these platforms. And just, the marketing end of it alone is wonderful, but the exposure is, that's going to be the key right there. And the way that technology keeps changing, I mean, you're adapting and moving along with it. Like you said, it's going to move fast. You can't let it just go right by you. Somebody else is going to scoop up the ideas and run with them. So
Yeah.
you're on top of it. You're moving forward with it. I know we have, I actually received a couple of messages while we were sitting here from a few people. One of them being DJ Marcus here in the audience. He's going to want to connect with you later on to talk to you and kind of pick your brain on a few things. So love having you on here to share what you're doing. This is definitely something a little bit different than what we typically talk about on this show. But I felt when we communicated that this was, something that was within the wider realm of Web3 and bringing you on to share. And I think that there are artists out there who could definitely benefit from your services. So if you're out there, go to musicdistrict.io, check out everything that's there, all the socials. I follow Rallo on Instagram and Twitter. I know he's more active on Twitter is like the basis. So, but I mean, the posts on there are interesting. So definitely check them out, follow them. And if you are an artist or a DJ or anyone else in the music industry and you have some questions, connect with Rallo. It's definitely, you want to pick his brain on this stuff for sure. So
Thank you.
thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it. And as we talked about a little bit earlier when Rallo was off adjusting, then next week, Troy is going to be our guest with Red Hector Art, and we will look forward to seeing him. So next Monday night, 9 p.m., come back to Crypto City, and we appreciate all of you for watching here tonight, and everyone have a great week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Stay positive, everybody. Stay positive.
Yes, thank you, Rallo.